GCHS. Today is Tuesday, April 14th, and these are your morning announcements. I'm Jessie.
I'm Brittany.
And I'm Maggie. Today and tomorrow are basically going to be the same with weather. In the 60s and chances of rain, so bring umbrellas.
Today for lunch, you have your choice of Salisbury steak with gravy, hamburger on bun, or salad bar.
Today for sports, there's an orange and blue home meet for track. Tonight, softball has a home game against Butler County at 5:30, and boys also have a game away at 5:30 against Meade. You may have noticed these QR codes hung up around the school. Jessie here is going to tell you why.
If you have a smartphone, you can download a QR scanner app and scan this little code here and watch cool videos
About countries,
Yeah.
other countries, and photos,
and informational facts.
Yeah, so get that app. Thank you.
Over spring break, we traveled to Europe where we went to 2 concentration camps. We went to Auschwitz and Dachau. Auschwitz is the biggest concentration camp and it was divided into 2 parts, Auschwitz and Birkenau. There once used to be a third part, but it was destroyed in the war. An actual Auschwitz was set up as kind of like a museum where we got to see the belongings and get to see how the Nazis viewed the Jews as useless. In one room, the room was full of hair that the Nazis would use for pillows and mattresses and stuff. After they would kill the Jews, they would shave off the hair, or they keep and use them. They would also use the crowns from their teeth or anything that they saw valuable. The Jews were nothing but objects to the Nazis. We also got to see where they would keep the valuables the Jews would bring, such as brushes or cans or like pots and pans. And it was sick to see that the Nazis just could care less about these Jewish people and that everything that the Jews valued as or had any attachment to was nothing but objects. And at Auschwitz, they had rooms full of this stuff, and hundreds and thousands of people just left their stuff, and these people are dead, and we were just looking at their stuff knowing how they died, and it was really hard to take that in. And then at Birkenau, which is where it really hit me how the Jews lived when they were in the concentration camps. They had a room full of toilets, and it was just rows full of toilets so close together. There was no privacy, no walls. It was just toilets right by each other. And they only had a few minutes to use them, and they only got 2 times a day to use them. And if they went to the bathroom any time besides those 2 times given, they would get beat. And if they used it longer than a few minutes, they would also get beat. The Nazis looked for reasons to hurt these Jewish people, even if they weren't doing anything wrong. And in the barracks where the Jews would stay, they were poorly built. They had no heat, water, nothing that would be considered luxurious. The barracks were cold, and the bottom bunks got flooded constantly because they were built low to the ground, and these Jewish people just had to sleep in cold water, even in the winter months, and they only had 1 pair of clothing, so they never got to change out of their wet clothes. And it's really hard to accept that idea because we're used to warm beds and heat and stuff, and these people got nothing no matter what the weather conditions were. And it was just miserable lives, and we're just looking at it, and it's hard to understand what all happened, even though we were there.
What hit me the most was Birkenau too. When we were first arrived, we come in where trains would stop to let these Jewish people off, and we were standing where Jewish families were split up, and they were split to women and children and then men. And we walked a path where the people who were sent off first would go straight to the gas chambers, and it was really sobering to see what they would see as their last amount of scenery. And it was dreary and terrible place to be the last thing you saw. And I can't even imagine what it would feel like to be separated from my family at this point, knowing that I wasn't coming back or that they weren't coming back. And the weather conditions at these camps were really bad, and the Jewish people got very limited amount of clothing. They had one outfit they got to wear for months on end, and they didn't get to wash it. It was just a t-shirt and pants, really. And when they slept in the bunkers, they used their shoes as their pillows because they got so little. And the bathrooms that she was talking about that we went in were just disgusting. It would have been a terrible place to have to use the bathroom. But that was like the greatest job a Jewish person could get, was cleaning the toilets out, because they were indoors and they were away from the weather. And they got more access to using the bathroom. So that was like the top job. If you got to use the bathroom, you were considered privileged. And it was just, the whole place was sick. We went in a gas chamber and you could feel the death that was surrounded there. It was gross. Like, I don't know how a person could have orchestrated it or been a part of it and just let it happen. It was really, really terrible. And like, we went numb. Everyone on the trip went numb, and you could tell it. And when we left, things would start to slowly seep back, and you would start to get your feelings on how bad this place was. And it's an experience that's really going to stick with us for the rest of our lives.
That's a wrap. Have a great day.